Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, we look at current energies and the unseen, the intuitive guidance, and the messages for all of us in the collective at this moment in time. And so really, really excited to be back here with you again this week. It is quite, I knew last week when we completed the show, they had already given me the theme for this week's show. And it's really a good one. And, you know, again, I use this a lot because it's the Lady Jacqueline's term, but it's really juicy. It's really good. And so just starting off the bat here with all of you, this week's theme is Deliverance Imagine All the People. And it's a beautiful, beautiful song, obviously. It's a famous, well-known song from John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And I just want to, start off because they're talking about deliverance. And I just want to give you some of the lyrics to the song. And it says, "Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one." And so there's this beauty in this deliverance, this moment for all of us. And when we look at this in our individual lives, what they're saying is, and we've been building to this moment. Good morning, Kim from Ontario. Welcome. So we've been building to this moment of deliverance, of achieving, of receiving, of this utopia. And what they're saying to me is it will play out, because we're each unique, it's going to play out differently for each of us. And yet there is an overarching unifying force, unity to the message, to the deliverance, to imagine all the people. And, and it speaks to, when you look at Revelations and so forth and the Bible, and, and it says that there will be this moment where, those that have passed will rise first, and then those that are alive at this moment, if you will join. And so imagine that for a minute. So imagine all the people. Imagine living for today, living in the day, in the moment, in this perfected state, this purity. And what they're saying to us is that's as real today against the illusion, the backdrop that we're all experiencing, as it is and will be, as it has been, as it will be, when it occurs, as it occurs. So this point of deliverance, and there's really, I want to bring this up because, and welcome, as you know, as you're joining, please put in the comments where you're joining from. And throughout the broadcast, we incorporate your questions, your comments, because the unseen, the golden tapestry, the golden threads, it's so magical the way this all interacts and from around the globe. So with that, by all means, put in the comments where you're joining from. So they're talking about this coming full circle. And imagine an image, and there's one of the tarot cards I tried to get, it's the Ace of Pentacles. And in some decks, the Ace of Pentacles in the tarot is this hand coming out from the unseen in a cloud, and it's holding this gold coin. And so in other decks, and it's always coming, the hand always, from the original Rider-Waite tarot deck and others, the hand always comes in on the card from the left, meaning from the unseen, from out of left field, from the unknown. It's not something that's on the right side that is known to us, but it's something that comes in from the left. And this coming full circle, so this deliverance, imagine all the people, this coming full circle. So imagine the rings on a tree, on the trunk of a tree. When the tree is cut, you see all the rings. And each ring completes an evolution, a revolution, a cycle. And that's what they're saying to us is, and remember these big energies, we've got big shifts. So I'm going to bring up the main energies. So while I'm talking about this, because this month in March, we've got the difficult beginnings, this persevere. Well, we've made a completion, deliverance. We're being delivered to a new beginning, to a new cycle, to a new way of being. Imagine all the people. Imagine all the people in this harmonic state, in this goodness, in this way of giving. And then realize that can be done right in this moment. We don't have to wait. It can be done right now. And so there's these messages that are coming together. And yes, is it difficult at the beginning? Is any change, is anything where we are in the unknown, is it difficult in the beginning? Yes. However, the message is to persevere. 15, today is the 15th. And it plays a big role, this humility, this authenticity, to be humble. So it is really about grace, humility, and gratitude. And so this humility, this authenticity, being true to yourself, which means that you will be true to others and with others. And that is this balance. Remember this harmonic balance. So we're looking for the equilibrium, the balance. The 1 and 5 become a 6, which is about spirit and service, how we nourish and feed our soul, how we show up in the world, how we authentically show up, move through, interact, correspond with people. 2023 is a 7-year. It's at Army and Legions. We have everything we need. We have this divine force, this universal force, this universal army. And think of like angels and fairies and past loved ones and the unseen, as well as earth angels, the earth army. And what it says is to invoke that, to utilize that, to be one with that in a correct way. It's not to triumph over others. It's not to oppress or suppress. It's not to victimize. It's not to wield and hold power over others. It is to unify this force, take this unified force and use it in the most powerful, empowering way. With that knowing, that caveat that says, do no harm. We don't harm others. We don't harm the earth. We don't harm animals. We don't harm the least among us. That is this message. And then 16. And 16 is the culmination of 3/15/2023. 16 is enthusiasm. It's to excite. And enthusiasm, as they said before, enthusiasm opens doors. Enthusiasm opens you to a whole new way of being. So again, imagine all the people. Deliverance, imagine all the people. And then this overall message, 40, of deliverance, this liberation, it's to untangle ourselves. And remember, as we're talking about that, it is moving from, I'm going to bring this up right now, it's from the devil to the lovers. This is the Brigitte Ashwood Luminous Tarot, the images. And again, you can see, and remember, the shadow element, the devil, and it can be addictions, it can represent negativity, it can represent fear, the shadow. But look again, 15 becomes a 6, the lovers, 6, spirit and service, purity, the goodness, our divine nature, our true nature. And so it's again to remember the shadow element, the devil, the shadow elements are purposeful. It's just we're not meant to be stuck there. We're not meant to stay in that devil nature, if you will. And in most of the tarot decks, what you'll see is that the chains that bind the human forms in the image are loosely attached. You have the keys, you have the necessary tools, you have everything you need to release yourself from that. It's just a step by step, so as to be delivered to the right side, the lovers, where literally in our purity, in our nakedness, if you will, as we came in to the world and everything. And yet look at the auspiciousness of the image, the mountain, the clouds, the angel, the sun, the starburst, the radiance, the Holy Spirit, the tree of life with the burning fire, the fruit. We have everything, and it's in its perfected state. So there's a deliverance here. And these two cards epitomize this message of deliverance, moving from the shadow, from the devil and the shadow side, to our innate nature, the purity of ourselves, love. And so there's some really powerful, and as you all know, I left almost a month ago, left my family in Colorado, guided. It was like, it's time to go, you go this way, and you migrate. And this beautiful image of an Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles represents new beginnings. It talks about new beginnings, prosperity, enormous plenty, and opportunity. Deliverance to something new. So in your individual lives, what is it that you have been yearning for? What is it that you have taken the steps towards or have been reluctant to do so? You've been holding back. You've been fearful, because that's the devil card. Or you're playing an old story, an old script that says, I can't have it. It won't happen. I can't make a living at it. I'm worried about what people will say or do. And yet it is your authentic nature. It's your soul speaking. When we go as guided, we're delivered. There's deliverance. There's Ace of Pentacles. There's new beginning. There's prosperity, enormous plenty. Because we're in alignment with our soul. And so, and you can see over my right shoulder, there we go. It's this beautiful image out the windows. I'm literally at the base of the mountains between Agora Hills, California, and Malibu, with all of the rain. And yes, too much of a good thing is too much. Too little is not good either. This harmony, this balance. And yet, to see these hills so green and verdant, so rich and abundant, is magical. It is absolutely magical. And so you can see, you get a taste of this through the window, of all of this verdant green, of this nature. And renewal. It is renewal. And with it, comes the washing away, the releasing of what no longer serves, or of what is um, crumbling, in need of repair. It's hexagram 18, decay, repairing what's spoiled. And so sometimes too much of a good thing will reveal what's decayed and in need of repairing, as too little of something. California went from a major drought to, in recent weeks, 50% of the state being no longer in a drought, reservoirs being at record lows, to back to being completely full and having to be released. Some levees breaking that are causing flooding and so forth. And so again, it reveals to us. So in our personal lives, and they're showing me this, look within. What in our personal lives is in need of repairing? What is it that we are doing in our lives that is too much of a good thing? And this is where arrogance, because the opposite of humility, right? The opposite of humility is hubris. It's arrogance. It's entitlement. Too much of a good thing. Are we riding too great a high that we fall into a false illusion? Or are we too humble to where we don't believe that we are worthy of something? We're not reaching high enough. And thereby you can see in either one of these what's required: humility, grace, gratitude, balance, consciousness, self-awareness, right? And I know. Us humans, we don't like looking at ourselves. We do not, we don't like looking at ourselves. We don't like looking within and seeing the truth. And you're going to see how that word truth plays out, because there are some hexagrams that we're going to be working with in today's show. And something else that I've spent a lot of time with, not noise, but noise. And it's so interesting because in this moment right now, and since I arrived, I'm in a new hotel here in Agora, and I literally went from overlooking a freeway and seeing the mountains, a lot of noise, this constant movement of traffic, to being right up against the mountain, nooked away in this beautiful corner, and it's absolute stillness, quiet. And it's such a blessing and such a gift for the peace, the stillness, the view, the mountains, the whole piece. And yet there's a discomfort in a way, because it's unsettling. It's quiet, which means that it allows you to be reflective. It allows you to open to see yourself, to see others, to see. And this is a good old fashioned opportunity, aka challenge, because again, we don't like to look. We don't like to look under the surface. And yet that's what's required of us. That is what this deliverance means. That is what this coming full circle, because they said, reaping what you sow. And instantly there is this kind of, because what do we call it? Like the urban use of it has been associated with karma and a negativity, like, you're gonna reap what you sow. Well, that's not true. The way it's really truly it was utilized and spoke of, and certainly again in the Bible, I looked this up. And to reap is to gather a crop. To sow is to plant seeds. And so it's talking to us. We're coming full circle. The rings around the tree. We're coming around. It's a revolution. We're coming back to where we began, but an octave higher. Pluto was moving into Aquarius, not since the French and American revolutions, not to the ratifying of the Bill of Rights and so forth for the U.S. These momentous moments. Not since then has Pluto re-entered Aquarius or been in Aquarius. It's coming up next week. We feel it already. Saturn moving into Pisces happened on the 7th last week. So this Virgo full moon, Virgo representing nature, abundance, the divine feminine, this return. And so this coming full circle, reaping what you sow. To reap is to gather a crop. It is to gather, to harvest. What is it in our personal lives? What is it that Spirit, Source, and Symphony, God, Allah, Buddha, what are they reaping? This crop, gathering a crop. To sow is to plant seeds, because we planted seeds. We all plant seeds. So again, what is it that we are nourishing? What are we tending to? What are we focused on? What are we putting our energy into? And is it authentic? And are you being truthful? Truthful with yourself, truthful with others? Because, you know, they say that beautiful saying, the truth shall set you free. And it's true. The truth isn't always easy. However, it speaks for itself. There's a beautiful quote that says, the truth becomes a part of your future. Or, I'm sorry, the truth becomes a part of your past. The lie, a part of your future. Because the truth just is, it speaks for itself and it's done. But the lie is something you have to keep perpetuating, and so it keeps going into your future. Where the truth, it releases you, it sets you free. It just is, it's done. And so at this moment, at this time of gathering a crop and this planting of seeds, because we're coming full circle, this deliverance. So contained within the reaping is the sowing. Contained within the sowing is the reaping, the planting for a future gathering, the gathering for a future planting. They're one and the same. It's the Ouroboros. It's the beginning and the end. You know, God says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. So contained within the ending is the beginning. There's another one that talks about, I open at the end, or I open at the closing. It's this beautiful analogy of how something culminates, completes, and something opens and begins. That's where we are. And this Ace of Pentacles, this new beginnings, abundance, plenty, prosperity, and what will you do with it? And in the tarot, the Five of Pentacles is like this, you didn't go for it. You just almost status quo. And here's the difference. I'm going to show you this, and it was in the show. So when I arrived here, this was the cover of the Malibu Times. Double rainbow. And it literally says, clear skies cover the canyons after the rainstorms. So again, there's abundance, there's sunshine, there's rainbows, there's rays of light, pots of gold, deliverance. Imagine all the people. And then, this represents 10 of Pentacles. This is having it all. Then I was aware, and I knew to show up on time. And we're going to see this. Let me just pull this up, because it is one of our main themes. And it's if I can find it and get to it, here we are. It's the mantra for this week as well. Right place, right time, right everything. So there's this moment where, and this will play out individually again, globally, macro, micro. So just be right place, right time, right everything. Because here's the brilliance and the point of that I'm bringing home with this, is that had I arrived a week later, I remember in the show on the 1st of March, it was all about the luck of the Irish. I'm just bringing this up again. Look how beautiful. I mean, prosperity, abundance, enormous plenty, opportunity, new beginnings, this luck of the Irish, the four-leaf clover, the absolute auspiciousness, right? And then I arrive, and that double rainbows, green. So yes, it's the month of March. Yes, it is St. Patrick's Day on Friday. So yes, so at the first hotel, I walk in and it's literally luck, lucky, four-leaf clovers in little wooden blocks, rainbow, wooden rainbow. pillows with 4-leaf clovers on them, a pillow with 17 in green, 17, follow, be led. All of these affirmations and confirmations. And then I looked down and I saw the newspaper, and it was this double rainbows. Had I shown up a week later, had I not been right place, right time, right everything, this is the cover of the paper this week. And you can see in the image, mudslide, rock slides, boulders, obstruction, delays, obstruction, obstacles. And these two represent, it's the difference between the 10 of Pentacles. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles. What will you do with this planting of the seeds? What will you do with what you're gathering? Because you're either going to move into the 10 of Pentacles, you're going for the 10 of Pentacles, all of it. I can have it all. Right place, right time, right everything. Anything and everything is possible with and through Source, with God, through Source, Symphony, Spirit. Or I'm doing the 5 of Pentacles route, which is just this kind of flatlining, obstacles, obstructions, blockages, delays, you name it. It's like shadow. It's the devil stuff. Or it's the purity of the lovers, the truth, the authenticity, the going for the gold, the auspiciousness of it, because I'm in alignment. I'm listening. I'm going as guided. I'm trusting. And it doesn't mean that we won't have to walk through the fire. It doesn't mean that we won't have to show up. It doesn't mean that we won't have to tell the truth to ourselves and to and with others and allow them theirs. However, I'm reminded of this. There was a beautiful group of us that we had journeyed to Scotland, and we were in Portree, Scotland, and it was pouring down rain, and the four of us were walking up a slight, incline, and we were just reaching the corner, and this lorry truck that delivers cattle and livestock and everything was coming up on our left and turning right in front of us, and literally projectiling out of the back of this lorry truck is basically liquid feces from the lorry truck. And it is projectile shooting out of the back of this truck as it comes up and turns around in front of us. And everybody kind of jumped back and was like, like you're looking down to see if you've been splattered or covered with it. And instead it's just made this wide swath, this path in the road. And one of my dear friends and colleagues that was with us at that time, she said, well, sometimes you have to walk through your own shit to get to the other side. It's a brilliant analogy. It's a beautiful moment. It doesn't mean we won't have to walk through our own stuff to get to the other side. We will. However, when you cross over, when you get to the other side, it's amazing. It opens up. So let me bring in Brigitte's, she said, question. With all the clearing going on and many not knowing what's going on, I find it really unfair in a way of being able to plant the new. It would be great if we all knew what kind of garden. Well, let me just absolutely see. This is why I love the unseen. This golden thread, this golden tapestry weaving. Number 3, they gave me number 3. And they said, actually, I'm sorry, it's number 2. Number 2. They said, certainty in the uncertainty. The known in the unknown. Trusting the path you created, co-created with the divine. So Brigitte, yes, this moment in time feels uncertain. It feels like we're destabilized. And yet we're not. It's just that we're in a massive moment, a massive shift that hasn't happened in 30 years and hasn't happened in 246 years. So So go back to, because this is something I want to bring up with our astro influences. Let me just show you. This all ties into Brigitte's question. We just in the U.S. spring forward. We shifted the time forward. So the time changed in the U.S. on 3/12. St. Patrick's Day, this day of auspiciousness, the luck of the Irish and everything, is this Friday. The spring equinox is next Tuesday, I believe, somewhere Monday, Tuesday. But here's the real point. Here's the tie-in, Brigitte, that's talking about why this all feels so unfair and why it feels uncertain and unknown. And we don't, do you know which way to go? Well, think back. So Saturn in Pisces, the last time it was in Pisces was a little bit in 93 and then 94, 95 into 96. Think back 30 years ago. Think back to that moment in time. What were you doing? What changes, what life changes occurred? And then take that and realize that Pluto in Aquarius hasn't happened since 1778 to 1798. 1777, 1778. So revolution, French Revolution, American Revolution, the ratifying of this ideal document for this ideal country, these mega shifts. It's almost like the Saturn in Pisces 30 years ago is that kind of, it was big. Like in our individual lives, big changes. I changed industries, careers. I took on something I hadn't done before. It had great, it was high profile, very visible, public. And they're saying to me in this moment, for all of you, and this is with Brigitte, they're saying to us, look back to that moment. Think about what was going on in your life in that 93 to 96, 97 stage. And then what's coming up, what's happening now, is that on steroids in the most positive way, in the most beneficial way. It is like being catapulted. It is this just, and so it's destabilizing. I mean, to go to Brigitte's point, we are purging, cleansing, releasing. We may be facing obstacles, or we're being asked to revisit something before we move on. And there was a beautiful analogy with Brigitte in a few shows ago about how some flooding and so forth, and she was having, their home was up, they were getting ready to put their home on to advance, for sale and everything in advance. It got flooded, they had to redo some things. Everything's purposeful. Everything in the moment, because it's all about deliverance. We are being delivered somewhere, individually, collectively, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, monetarily, the whole shebang. We are being delivered, and we're going back to where we began. So 30 years, 240 years, we're going back to where we began, but an octave higher, because contained within the advance is the return. It's the Ouroboros. It's the revolution, the cycles, the rings on the tree. It is to gather the crop and to plant the seeds. So to answer your direct question, Brigitte, it's hard to know where to plant the seeds, right? For what kind of garden? What does it look like? Where am I going? Who's there? Who's not there? Suspend that so that you don't, analysis paralysis, you don't get confused and overwhelmed, you don't give up. Because remember, Pluto's at that 29th degree, that anaretic degree, that degree of faith or giving up. We're being launched. We're being pushed forward. The Ace of Pentacles pushes you out. I didn't have to leave, and yet I did, because it was time to go. It was time to move forward. It was time to reap, gather the crop of all the seeds that I had planted. This is true for all of us. And so what's unknown? Well, I'm not sure yet what that garden looks like. I'm not sure where it leads. However, what I do know to do, and what and this is where this pertains for all of us, to Brigitte and to all of us. Focus on each step, the known in the unknown, the certainty in the uncertainty. Make peace with the uncertainty. Make peace with the unknown. Come to love it. It's exciting. It's enthusiasm. It's exciting. It's also terrifying. Okay, well, contained within the one is the other, and vice versa. All you need to do is focus, surrender to the divine, surrender to the path. Trust the path you created, you co-created with the divine. This is your path. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you because you co-created it, because it's what your soul said it would do. Well, now we just have to surrender and show up. We have to come into the fullness of that, the peace of that, to make peace with the journey we created. And that way we can say, okay, I may not know. I can have a vision. I can think that my garden is this big. I've got my arms wide open. Only to realize or find out that what your soul has planned for you, what you co-created with the divine, is so wide and big and huge and amazing that I can't even get my arms that wide. Because we surrender to it, we show up, and we just take the next step. Keep taking. Remember, they said to us, it's time to shine, step by step, putting it together. So Brigitte and everyone, don't become overwhelmed. I'm walking the talk. I'm right there with you. Don't become overwhelmed. Don't tell yourself or think that you must know. When you get into analysis paralysis mode, fear mode, frustration mode, anxiety mode, recognize it and quickly move yourself. I had that at the other morning. They woke me up at 12:06. Look at the clock. Look at the clock. Look at the clock. I looked at the clock. I'm like, okay. And then I went into spin mode. And I was like, and I finally went, listen, this is not serving anybody any good. It's the least of all myself. So you know what? I need to know what I'm doing tomorrow. And that means I need my sleep. So, okay, we're done with this. And I fell back asleep for a good 4 hours. And I woke up and I walked through the fire. And that's what we do. So don't allow ego, mind, personality, the shadow, the devil element aspects to block you. You are your new garden. And see, you are your new garden. As you take each step, as you plant each new seed, you may not know what it's going to flower, what the flowering will be, what the abundance will be, what the unfolding will be. But isn't that part of the magic of the journey? Isn't that part of the experience, the experiencing of it? If we knew ahead how brilliantly it would come to life and how amazing it might be, would we appreciate it as much? It's because we already know them. So it begs that question of, or the statement of, trust in the path you created, that you co-created with the divine, because it's magical and it is always going to be far more than what the ego, mind, personality will give you credit for, expect, want, and so forth. So, and let me just add, she said, yes, right place, right time, right everything is just happening for me. Getting our house redone and everything is going well. The right people show up and. Very happy and exciting. Exactly. It is literally, I mean, look at the auspiciousness, the magic. And I looked at the gentleman at the previous hotel with all of that, the shamrocks and the 17 and the rainbow and the words luck and 4-leaf clovers and the whole, and this double rainbows on the Malibu Times. And I said, clearly, I am in the right place at the right time. Because again, the difference was, had I delayed, had I detoured, had I done anything like that, I would have gotten roadblocks and obstructions and delays and detours. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not having that. So don't have that. Don't create that for yourself. right time, right place, right everything. I'm just going to bring that up one more time really quick because it is our mantra. Right place, right time, right everything. And look, it's auspicious. It's being created. The image is that, I mean, you can see it's melding like liquid gold, liquid nature, liquid ice, and it's auspicious. And so that's because, again, the journey begins anew. We've had this. And what's required? Childlike innocence, be the fool, be the hero's journey. And Deborah is talking about um, those were definitely years of great change in my life. Exactly. When you look back at 1993 to 1997, you're going to see there were some epic shifts and change in your life. And this coming up, this 2023 and this year of deliverance, and because again, remember, what's a 7 year? It's the foundation of God's word. It's divine fulfillment, divine completion, divine perfection, deliverance. Imagine all the people. So imagine all the people receiving this deliverance. Remember and think back to that time, because you were pushed up and pushed out. You were made uncomfortable back in this 93, 97 window. You took on new aspects. You learned new tools and trades. You were more exposed, more public. You were seen in a bigger, greater way. And it was uncomfortable. This is very interesting. Kim just said, my daughters were born over those years. And I was just going to say, it's like, before I saw it, and I was like, it's like giving birth. I mean, it's uncomfortable. It can be messy, uncomfortable, and yet, oh my gosh, rewarding. It's that on steroids. It is going, and the most beautiful, empowering, powerful, scary, triumphant, delivering way. Kim is saying your stories are hilarious. They are in hindsight, Kim. And that's the true thing. That's the other gift. Again, does it take faith, full faith and trust, and this kind of fortitude and perseverance and so forth, and we have to walk through our own stuff, and we have to walk through the fire. Yes, 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 yes. And that can be terrifying. Okay, fine. Get to the other side. It's amazing. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's stuff you can't make up, because we then are delivered. Once we, and this is, again, micro, macro. So think about it, just maybe you're applying or you're thinking about leaving, changing jobs, changing countries, changing cities, locations, change. You're contemplating change. That it's going to require you got to show up, you got to walk through you got to face everything, you've got to suspend, stop any old scripts and stories, shoulda, woulda, couldas, can'ts, whatever, old stories, old scripts, stop. Because it's an illusion, it's a shadow, it's a devil element, it's a shadow element. And it's purposeful, it's there for a reason. Because you're saying to yourself, it's lack. It's fear and lack based. The minute you face it, the minute you walk through the fire, all that was unclear, uncertain, in a second, you're like, oh, that's what all that meant. And it's delivered. And then you're on the other side of it, and then you can look back as Kim is saying and saying, it's hilarious. Then you can laugh. Up until that point, you have anxiety, and that's okay. That's a human aspect. Get to the point where you're quicker about not having the anxiety, the fear, the mind chatter, and all that stuff. You'll move faster, and you'll get better, quicker, and faster and better. Elizabeth is saying, I'm finding myself in a very quiet place this week. It's almost as if it's a moment of calm. Elizabeth, I know you said, sorry, I'm late. You joined in late. It's one of the things I just said. I moved from this hotel that had the mountain view and everything, but it overlooked the freeway, the 101 freeway. And you get used to the noise. We get used to the noise in our lives, the chatter, the noise. the world events, these things. And now I'm in this new hotel at the base of the mountain. Gorgeous, gorgeous, I mean, abundant, fertile, gorgeous green view. Absolute quiet, stillness, calm. And it is both the most beautiful, amazing thing, and it's unsettling in a way because you're like, oh, well, so I can listen, or oh, I can just receive. But it's interesting when we have absolute stillness and quietness, calm, how it can be initially unsettling because we're not used to it. No matter how balanced and everything we are and how quick we transcend and so forth, absolute calm and stillness, quietness can be unsettling until it's not. It's a beautiful thing. So very on point, because there is that. Remember they said last week, if I'm not mistaken, so they said darkest before the dawn, but it's that, that calm before the coming, that deliverance, that calm before the coming, the arrival, the auspiciousness. And they keep saying to me, imagine all the people. Imagine, just in a meditation, in a moment of quiet, imagine all the people living. I'm going to post the lyrics to the song Imagine, because it epitomizes this perfected state, this utopia, this grace and gratitude and humility and prosperity and abundance. And imagine all the people with that unifying force, that unifying energy, that constant. 30 years ago, on steroids. It moves it up. So let's look at, because again, one of the things on the astrological influences is we are springing forward. That is, we are being catapulted. We are being moved forward. And so, and just again, the time change, the spring equinox is coming up. All of these things are happening at once. Saturn moved into Pisces. Pluto's coming. I mean, this is all in a very tight, like 7-10 day window. It's all epic advancement. This spring, the garden. Look at the analogy with Brigitte, the garden. Spring forward. That is what we're talking about. And so, as we move forward, so number 3, the third thing they said is the way opens, appears. So Brigitte was talking about, and Elizabeth, the calm before the opening, the which way, the unknown, the uncertainty, the unknown. And they're saying the way opens - appears magically in capital letters. That means, remember, the Ace of Pentacles comes in from the left, comes out of left field. It comes out of nowhere. It's unknown. It is the Four of Cups. Let me just bring that up. I believe I still have it on. And maybe I don't. It's the Four of Cups. It's that hand coming in. We've been looking at the 3 down below, but it's the one that comes in from the heavens, from the unseen, from the left. That's what all of this is. So the way opens, it appears magically. And then they said, a little cheeky and yet loving, might you, in quotes, walk the path of destiny. So in other words, the way opens, appears magically. It's going to present itself in our individual lives. It's going to present itself micro, macro, globally and individually. Might you walk the path of destiny? In other words, might you go the way you said you would go? Might you go the way your soul said it would? Not your ego, mind, personality, but your soul. Might you walk the path of destiny? And then they said, straightforward shot. No detours, delays, excuses, exceptions, etc., etc., etc. It's all a choice, meaning life. It's all a choice. So when the universe, when the unseen, when Spirit, Source, and Symphony, when the way opens, when it appears magically, it's that saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Listen to your soul, and it's a straightforward shot. Walk the path of destiny. Walk the path of your destiny, of what you co-created, because it's already yours. Don't worry about, just listen. Know, feel it and know. If it's right, you're going to know it. And then none of the chatter, none of the, shoulda, woulda, couldas, and I don't have, none of the double stuff. It's just a straightforward shot. Walk this way. It's that song, Walk This Way. It's that. And do it with authenticity, humility, grace, gratitude, fortitude, because there is there's a great surrender and empowerment. To surrender is the most empowering thing you can ever do, because you're surrendering to yourself, your soul self. You're surrendering to Source, to God, Source, Symphony, to your interior soul self. It's not something to others. And so that's so empowering, because then you awaken. You're like, okay, I know. And you listen, and they say, go this way. Well, here they're saying to us, the way opens, it appears magically. There's magic afoot. It's the 17, the luck of the Irish, rainbows, double rainbows, shamrocks, four-leaf clovers. It's going to appear magically. It's going to appear out of left field, out of nowhere. It's going to be something you probably didn't even think or know or realize that you wanted. But the minute it's magically appears in front of you, it's going to be like that internal bell going. Remember, the bell of destiny tolls. Ding. It's this internal thing, and it's like, oh yeah, that. Oh, that's for me. If it's not that, if it's not live, if it's a Memorex, you're going to know that too. You're going to know that it's an artificial, an AI. It's not intelligence. It's not Source. It's not Spirit, Source, and Symphony. It's not your soul. That's intelligence. That's the original. There is nothing, no one, nothing better than Source, the original. If it's AI, artificial intelligence, manufactured, snake oil, puffery, BS, whatever, you're going to know it, because you're going to feel it. So again, know that and go as guided. And just because it's quote unquote too good to be true, feel into it. It may be too good to be true. However, it also may be exactly this, I can't get my arms any bigger, wider, magical, amazing thing that you didn't know you realized you wanted. And you can tell. So, and they're just saying to me, however, do not manipulate the truth. The truth is the truth is the truth. It requires nothing of you. The truth speaks for itself. So meaning, you don't have to convince yourself. You don't have to manipulate it, massage it into something. You don't have to, build a story around it. That's AI. That's artificial intelligence. That's snake oil. That's something. When it's just straight up, bam, there it is. Walk this way. There it is. Because here's where these four come in. And number 4, humility and deliverance go together. Enthusiasm and centering in truth go together. And I want to read from divination.com for a moment here on these. And specifically, So here's 16. Enthusiasm unleashes enormous creative energy. The effect is like powerful music that inspires great numbers of people, loosening constraints and sprouting new opportunities. Inspires great numbers of people. Deliverance. Imagine all the people. Sprouting new opportunities. Ace of Pentacles. Reaping what you sow. The gathering of a crop, the planting of seeds. The power of enthusiasm is best symbolized by music and dance. It is guided more by the heart than the head. It's the soul, it's the knowing. You can feel it. Good fortune can follow when an enthusiastic leader is a person of strong character, one who is able to guide this positive energy toward a favorable destination. So again, remember, going is guided, authenticity. It's pure. And it says, to arouse others, redouble your dedication and dare to create an environment that is free of tension. Take joy in your works. Harness the power of song and dance in your own way. There's a reason that people say, dance like nobody's watching, because look how liberating it is. Look how enthusiastic it is, and it's joy, and it moves your soul, your spirit. It brings you to life. So that's 16. That's enthusiasm. Well, now let's look at 61. It's mirror. And 61 is centering in truth. Centering in truth involves becoming conscious of the relationship between your heart and the circumstances of your life. This requires connecting with the fundamental wisdom that is within you, within other people, and within all of nature. It's fundamental. It's innate. The truth speaks for itself. Truth becomes power when you let go of prejudice and make yourself receptive to the world as it really is. So again, it's seeing through the illusions. It's not getting caught up in the ego mind personality. The truth speaks for itself. This kind of inner transformation can produce a remarkably influential person, but is difficult to achieve in the distracting modern world of false messages and fake friendships. It is achieved only by those who cultivate a genuine openness to the way things are and possess a willingness to see into the heart of things rather than to merely look at appearances or to stay on the surface. Nothing is ever what it appears. The truth is always present. It's ever present, and it speaks for itself. Most times people stay at the surface. There's an argument, or there's tension, or there's, someone's doing something to me, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, then sit in the calm, sit in that moment of calm, and look deeper. Center into the truth of it. Because then all the illusions, all the shadow elements fall away, and there is the pearl, there's the wisdom, there's the truth. That's what this is, and that's what you're showing up for me. This is where it is. It talks about when your inner life is clouded, your influence in the world is likewise hidden. When you are fearful, you will be attacked. When you cloak mysteries with dogma, opportunities for insight will be lost. So again, if you're telling yourself a story, an old script, if you keep telling yourself things, or you lock yourself into a position, or you're just an absolute, then the opportunity for insight will be lost. If, however, if you waver in upholding your principles, you will be tested. Yet when you are firm and strong, the power of truth can break through even the most stubborn of minds, including your own. I love that part. Because again, what we're making space for here is deliverance. And deliverance is truth. Deliverance of the purity of our innate essence, our being, our opportunities, that which we have planted, sown, and are reaping, gathering. In a debate, the power to perceive the truth in another's position is essential to winning the contest. And that's so very true. When you debate, not argue, not talk at, when you debate, it requires great listening skills. And because what you've got to hear isn't necessarily the words that they're saying, but the intention, the what is the truth they're saying? What's their truth? So you can listen and hear and say, okay, I see what you're saying, but is it this or is it really this? This, and you'll notice that in an argument, you can be talking about why somebody doesn't put the cap on the toothpaste or whatever and so forth. It's never about that. It's always about some other truth, something deeper. That's just the model, the manifestation, the thing at the surface that brings it out, that brings the deeper truth to the surface. Generally, it is possible to influence even the most difficult people or improve the most difficult circumstance through the power of shedding light on universal truths. For truth is something to which all beings naturally respond. And there's an irony here too. Most people, and I want to say everyone, can't stand being lied to. When you are lied to, you can't. It's a natural response. You go, ugh. And yet there's an irony that the people that lie don't like being lied to. There's something about that. Put that in the comments. However, it's so get in touch with that part of yourself that is in touch with this power. Cultivate this ability and become adept at using it, as it will allow you to relate to those who might come to share a common purpose with you for the greater good. So this humility and deliverance go together. Humility, grace, gratitude, goodness, and the perfect balance of that. Too much, too little, or it's got to be mama bear. It's got to be right in the middle. And then enthusiasm centering in truth, because the truth really truly will set us free. And once again you walk through the fire, and once you get to the heart of it, the truth of it, and once you've stated your truth and are living your truth and embodying it, and you make room and space for continuing opportunity, evolution, you won't be fixed on a state of being. You'll be open to see even greater levels, even deeper levels. However, remember again, this is what most people don't like to do. They don't like to do those works. And yet that's what's required to receive, to expand, to evolve. That's what's required, because it's going to deliver you to an ever higher state of opportunity, experience, and experiences. That's what's here. Last but not least, number 5, they said, spirit will guide you, exclamation point. Go as guided, exclamation point. Act, exclamation point. And then under that, they said, precious new beginnings. So it's to not take for granted these precious new beginnings. It's to not take for granted all that you have experienced and done and borne witness to and surrendered and everything. It's to not take for granted those works, because you did them. Only you could have done them. And even though we may want someone else to show up in a way for us in a different way, that may or may not be their journey. And so it's not to take for granted. It's not to take lightly these precious new beginnings, because only you could have magically arrived here. Only you did the works to arrive here. Only you, co-creating with the divine, only you manifested, the magician, the fool, manifested this deliverance, this renewal, this coming full circle, this reaping and sowing, gathering and planting. So center on the certainty and the uncertainty, the known and the unknown. Go as guided. You are absolutely on the right path and the right way, and you will experience your deliverance. It's going to be quite magical. And I already know next week is all about orange. You'll notice that we've been in this purple, green, purple, green. Well, next week is orange. And that's very, dreamsicle, orange. It's juicy, as the Lady Jacqueline says. So thank you, one and all, for being here, for joining in, for sharing your comments and everything. I just want to add this in really quickly. Elizabeth is saying, I'm getting cold feet though. I have worked so hard this past year to push through, and this calm is weirding me out. It's a gift. Yes, it can be disconcerting, unsettling, until we just make peace with it, until we see all the beauty. See the beauty within, see the beauty around. Know that your ego, mind, personality, the shadow element, the devil side is what will keep you immobilized. Because remember, fear is energy. Fear is a force. It either immobilizes or catapults you. It either holds you back or just shoves you forward. You use it, it's a catalyst. So it's either immobilizing or it's a catalyst. It's a catalyst to move forward. So keep all of that in mind and just keep centering in truth. Grounded and centered in truth. So love you all so, so much. Thank you for being on this journey with me, with us, the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony. And thank you for being such a beautiful soul family in this weekly Wisdom and Insights tribe. I will see you next week.